Okay, guys. So in our last class, we had discussed about all the freestyle job setups and related all Jenkins features, how we can set up upstream and downstream jobs. We saw how we can set up the agents, right? How we set up the this slave and no master and slave architecture. All we already have covered, right? And also we saw what is the pipeline and how we can write the pipelines and everything we saw in theoretical, right? The overview on the pipelines we understood in our last class. So today's class will talk about the full automation from starting from today and tomorrow, the complete automations with advanced feature of Jenkins. Everything we are going to discuss. And I would advise you guys, please don't waste your time. Don't just stay down, just listen in the class and just leave it for the entire day. Okay, don't do that. Just do practice whenever or whatever time you are getting, half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Just give it. Okay, and after this class, we any questions you have, any doubt or anything, just ask me. I believe whatever I just delivering you, everything is real time. Okay. All the time, real time, what I am doing, right? All the people, DevOps engineer, they do normally in the companies. Everything I'm explaining from the scratch, from the root level. Okay. So let's start, guys. What will you? As we discussed about this Jenkins pipeline, right? We saw what is Jenkins pipeline, right? It's a sort of plugins which supports implementing and integrating continuous integration, delivery, testing, deployment, and continuous monitoring pipelines into Jenkins. So we'll see how we can write these pipelines, how we can set up the automations, right, to achieve the continuous delivery, continuous integration, continuous build, right, testing, continuous deployment, how we can achieve through this pipeline automatically. That we'll see from the scratch. And we saw why should we use the pipelines, what is the benefit, and what type and how many ways we can write the pipeline, right? There are many, basically two ways to write the pipelines. That is the declarative way. Another one is the scripted pipeline. Declarative pipeline, scripted pipeline, right? This is the two ways we can write the pipeline. So in today's class, I'll just show you how we can write the pipeline in both ways, in declarative as well as in scripted. Okay. So as I always said in my classes, so whatever tools, whatever technologies, right, you are learning, just follow their documentations, official documentations. They have everything put together in that documentation from the starting, right? How you have to use their product, how you have to use their product, and what is being done, right? Everything is written there, and they keep upgrading their documents, right? So for Jenkins also, we have their official site called jenkins.io. So Jenkins.io, very beginning, I had shown you this documentation, this page, right? Jenkins.io. So if you just go to this documentations page, and you'll see here we have other things available, right? Here the tutorials, if you go, we have this Jenkins pipeline, right? Let's go, either you can go here or you just click on this pipeline. And here we see is given what is pipeline and all, right? That is why what already I have told you, what is this pipeline, right? And here the declarative versus scripted pipelines. So when I say it in our things, right, how we can write the pipelines. This is most important. You may get questions in the interview. What is the pipeline? So Jenkins pipeline can be defined using a text file called Jenkins file, right? So how we have to write the Jenkins file, right? That is what you need to understand, right? So Jenkins files can be defined using a text file called Jenkins file. You can implement pipeline as code using Jenkins file, right? So in Jenkins file, we use a domain specific language. What it says, a Jenkins file can be written using two types of syntax. One is the declarative and scripted, which I just explained, right? So why should we use for pipeline, right? Why? Because Jenkins is fundamentally an automation engine. That is what we are going to do that. right? So code. What is this? Pipelines are implemented in code and typically checked into source control. Source control. So typically code, whatever we have learned in Jenkins now, everything was manual, right? Freestyle job setups. Now we are going to write the code to fully automate it, right? And whenever we write this pipeline script, where we'll write the pipeline script? In Jenkins file, right? And that Jenkins file we will keep in the remote repositories or repositories source control. So giving teams the ability to edit, review, and iterate upon their delivery pipelines. Whoever wants to change in your team, you'll be not the single persons working in your team, right? There will be many other people who will be working in your team, in DevOps, as DevOps engineers. So we all have that permissions to edit the pipeline as per the module, as per the work you are doing, right? The requirement. Next one, the durable. Pipelines can survive both planned and unplanned restart of Jenkins control. If a pipeline is running and your Jenkins restarted, your pipeline will be in stock, right? It will be hang, right? It will be, sometimes it will be just waiting for the system to be available. Once it is available, it will start again, right? And persuable. Pipelines can optionally stop and wait for human input or approval before continuing the pipeline. What is this possible? This possible means pipelines can optionally stop and wait for human input. So when we should pause the pipeline, right? When we should pause the pipeline. The pipeline pausing, whenever it is required, see, we have multiple phases, right? Continuous delivery, integration, continuous delivery, and continuous deployment, right? Suppose in 3 phases, once you feel like continuous delivery is done, your continuous testing part is over, and you need an approval phase to set off for your continuous deployment. That I will explain you in details with a project which we are going to do tomorrow classes. The entire project with the production implementations, I'll show you how we can implement these things into the productions. The complete project we'll see tomorrow classes, right? Starting scratch from the building, testing, right? Delivery, as well as we'll see how we can do the direct productions deployment with the user inputs, with the approvals. Okay, everything I'll show you in details. So versatile. What is this versatile? Versatile is pipeline supports complex real-world CD requirements, right? Including the ability to fork, join, or loop, and perform work in parallel. Extensible, the pipeline plugin supports custom extensions to its DSL. So we know how we can set up the plugins and all. Okay. So here you can see the complete pipeline flow, right? Let me just little maximize this particular diagram. It's actually very good pipeline diagram, which can explain you in detail, right? Still, it is not that visible, right? Okay, let me, okay, sure. Here, if you see here, the development phase, we have different stages. As I was showing in my this Excel sheet, the PowerPoint, right? This PowerPoint, what is that? Jenkins pipeline, we have different stages here. What is that? Checkout, build, test, staging, and productions, or delivery, or deployment. Those are the stages in a pipeline. So we'll discuss what a stage is, what a step is in the pipeline in details. Okay, what is this? So from the development phases, when we start the pipeline, right? First will be our SCM checkout. This part will contain the development part, right? The development people will start their coding, then they commit their code into the source code management locally, or into that, what they'll do, they'll put into the remote branches, source code management commit, repo and branch name created, workflow starts now. Then different stages will be started. Once the workflow starts means once the Jenkins pipeline executed. So these are the different stages. A source code management checkout means it will check out the code, whatever been committed by the development people. And the other one is the stage, right? Other stage is build and launch. Anything, Docker or whatever you want, you can do that. The next stage is test and then deploy or deliver whatever. And it has also different steps available, different stages available. Okay. And after it is done, we can do the deploy, workflow ends, which will go into the production and the test result. Before deployment, we have the test, and test we can run in parallel. Builds we can run in parallel. I'll show you in the project, I show you in the code, whatever we write today. So how we can write the parallel. What is this parallel means? That you have to think about, put the logic, right? See, if you have suppose 5 build to be happen, right? And those 5, one build takes suppose 15 minutes to 30 minutes time, right? 30 minutes of time suppose. And 5 builds, if you run one after another, right? In sequentially, what will happen? It will take 5 into 30 minutes. So 150 minutes it will take to complete the entire build stage. 150 minutes it will take to complete the entire build. But if we know that these builds are not dependent on each other, what we can do, we can just keep this to, let me just explain here. We have sequentially running, right, one after another. But what happens once test is over, test stage is over, then staging stage will complete, right? In test stage, you can see we are parallelly testing the product in 2 different web browser, right? Firefox and Edge. In this parallelly, it's getting tested. So if we don't keep this particular in parallelly and we can keep it sequentially, what will happen? First, it will do Firefox testing, and then it will come sequentially. So if we see in simple ways, right? If we have suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, suppose test 1, test 2, test 3, test 4, test 5, right? So if we run sequentially, what happens if it takes 30 minutes, so it will take to run total 150 minutes. Instead of writing this in sequentially, we can run if these are not dependent each other. That means if you think that T2 is dependent on the result of T1, then you cannot make it parallelly run, right? It will fail. There should not be any dependencies here, right? So what will happen if no dependencies? What we can do? We can keep this to run parallelly. Can put this to run parallel. So this will run parallelly. So overall, this will take 30 minutes. And to keep this run parallelly, you should have that resource available to run this, right? That's also another factor you have to think about. Whenever you're designing any kind of automations, right? You're putting together, you have to make sure that everything, right, are taken into consideration. Otherwise, it will fail. So now you understood the parallel things. Now, if we go here, let's just minimize this little more. Fine. Now, so we saw this diagram. We understood clearly by the parallel, and this parallel programming and parallel writing and executing the build we'll see in detail. Okay. Now, if you see here the pipeline concept, I'm just going to explain this pipeline concept to you. So in pipeline, there will be most 3 things you have to consider, 3 terms or keywords, which is node, stage, node or agent, stage, and steps. What are these? right? So a pipeline is a user-defined model of CD pipeline. A pipeline code defines your entire build process, which typically includes stages for building an application, testing it, and then delivering it, right? So the node. A node is a machine which is part of the Jenkins environment and is capable of executing a pipeline. So the node or agent, which I was talking about in our last class, like the master slave architecture, there we created the agent, right? I showed you how we can set up the agent there. Also, in our project, I'm going to do all these things in an agent, also in a node. So node is a machine, or agent is a machine which is part of the Jenkins environment and is capable of executing a pipeline. So master will deliver the build to that respective agent or node from where it will get executed. If you have still any doubt on this node, just watch the previous video. Everything I have explained with creating the various jobs, right? How it was getting delivered to the different nodes. So nodes is clear. Now the stage. A stage block defines a conceptually distinct subset of tasks performed through the entire pipeline. What is it? A stage block defines a conceptually distinct subset of tasks performed through the entire pipeline. So different stages like build, test, right, deploy, those are the stages. And every stage consists of various steps, right? Those steps is nothing but the task. Which task you need to execute, okay? So a single task, fundamentally a step, tells Jenkins what to do at a particular point in time. For example, to execute the shell command, make use of sh step to make sh make. So step sh make. When a plugin extends a pipeline DSL, that typically means the plugin has implemented a new step. Suppose you find a step that particular command is not available, or that particular steps will not, task cannot be executed. So you have to install that particular plugins in order to get that particular extended pipeline DSL. So remember, step is a single task. Whatever task you want to achieve, you want to execute, you have to put into their single steps. So here is the simple pipeline syntax. Very simple, guys. You'll be thinking, right, I have to write the very hard codes. No, it's not like that, right? But such in declarative pipeline, the pipeline block defines all the work done throughout the entire pipeline. Whatever the blocks I have explained here, whatever the stages, right? How many stages we have? We have 3 stages here: build, test, deploy. This is how it looks like, okay? Now, let me explain you these things in writing, right? How we'll do it? So what I'm going to do here, suppose, let me write the pipelines. Now what I'm going to do, simply suppose I'll write pipeline. How the syntax? Let me just explain you the syntax. If you understand clearly to write the syntax, at any situation, at any time, you can write your own code, right? Let's write pipeline. Okay, let's write pipeline here, and simple curly braces status ends. And in the pipeline, you need to tell Jenkins where this pipeline to be executed. Now understood? Where now what you have to do? You have to put where your pipeline to be executed, right? Where your pipeline to be executed. Then you have to put that. This is I have commented, right? I have just given a comment here. Where you want your pipeline to be executed. So you have to give the agent. Agent Suppose for the time being, I gave any, means any available agent. Any available agent. So master also a master agent, right? It is a master, but act as an agent also if there is no agent available, right? So master nodes. If we have master machines, what is the master or controller? We say either master or controller where the Jenkins is installed. That will be your master or controller. And the rest of the agents or nodes what you are attaching to it to make your build to run, those will be the agents or nodes. So here I gave agent any, means any available agent, including master, it will the pipeline I want to run. Then you have to put different stages. How many stages you want to put it in your automations? Different stages. All right. Now let's do here. The code will be stages. Okay. It will also start with curly braces. And with curly braces. Inside stage, now you have to put different stage. I'll now put one stage, two stages here, suppose, right? We cannot put one stage inside another. It should be a separate stages. Okay, stages, and inside stages we have two stages. I added two stages here. Two stages, right? Now, inside stage, you have to add the task inside the step block. Inside the stage block, we will add a step block. Inside the step block, we'll add the tasks, right? Now, stage. Let's just name this stage as build, or and this one we can just give us test. Two stages, sorry, build, two stages we add. So now let's add steps here. Steps, right? Like it is given here, steps. You can see here, every stage we have steps. That is nothing but your tasks, right? Steps. Now here we are steps, right? Steps. Here in the steps, you have to add the task. Which task you need to execute. Let me just add a simple echo statement here. Those who have got chance to work on Unix, but even Windows also echo print statement also works. Echo statement, right? To print in the console, right? Output something. Echo building. Suppose I'll give us building successful. Success building successful. Right. Now, next we'll see here testing successful. Okay. Building successful, testing successful here. Right. So what I'll do here, I add one task. This is just a demo task. I'm just putting it here, right? Just a demo task putting it here. And you need this total. It's a very simple syntax how we can write. This is very few steps, right? See, you will be feeling like it's very easy to write, right? And all the task commands, you have to put it here. We'll see in details when we do 3-4 small programs. That time you can understand easily. Now you understood how we can write the declarative, and this is declarative pipeline. Declarative pipeline syntax. Now let's talk about how we can write the scripted one, right? Scripted pipeline. It's also as simple as declarative. It is also as simple as declarative. But declarative, actually Jenkins actually morely putting more functionality, more weightage to the declarative pipeline. Okay. In declarative pipeline, we can integrate this script things in the Groovy script, whatever, we can just write it here, right? But let's see how we can write the scripted pipeline. So scripted pipeline, let's understand before writing and checking this scripted pipeline, how we do that. In scripted pipeline syntax, one or more node blocks do the core work throughout the entire pipeline. Although this is not a mandatory requirement for scripted pipeline, confining your pipeline's work inside a node block does two things. One is the schedules the steps contained within the block to run by adding an item into the Jenkins queue. And the second one is the creates a workspace, and into the workspace it works. So it creates two things. One is the schedules the steps and create a workspace and work. Here we can just write node and give the steps on. So one is the node, execute this pipeline on any its stages on any available agent. So you have to put the node name here, which node you want to add it here. Any, if you just give node, any available node it will have, or you have to specify the which node you want, and then different stages. So here again, pipeline examples here, the real commands also it's given here. The real commands also given here. Okay, now let's. So this is, you understand what is the pipeline, how the code looks like. Okay, now let's go ahead and see how we can create the automations job or the pipeline project in Jenkins. Okay, let's go ahead, log into your Jenkins here. Jenkins, and we can just see. See, I just logged in here. Now let me go ahead and create a pipeline. Click on the new item, give a name, right? I'll just give us pipeline demo B9, suppose, right? And here, we are not going to create a freestyle project, right? So we are going to create a pipeline. Click on this pipeline. Okay. Simple, nothing, right? And here we can see very little things available here. We have to set up the general section descriptions. You have to provide the good descriptions about the project or the job, whatever you are getting by setting it off. And these are the things we discussed about already, right, in freestyle. And there are a few things which we'll discuss in our pipeline job or project setup also, right? And the build triggers we saw already, and we are going to learn the type of build triggers also we are going to do today in this class. Okay, we have this build after other projects are built, like the downstream jobs or upstream jobs you want to set up, right? We selected this, and we are going to learn this GitHub hook trigger, poll SCM, and all this. And this GitHub hook in our GitHub classes also, I had kept this one to learn now to how you can set up this GitHub webhook in Jenkins. Now we'll see how that can be achieved. We'll see the poll SCM, poll source code management, trigger builds remotely, all these things, right? We'll see today. Now, let's come to the advanced project options here. Okay. If you see here, if you want to give a display name, if you have to put a name, you can just put it or leave it here. So most important things is the pipeline. In this pipeline, how you want to write the pipelines. Two ways it gives. Pipeline script directly in this script window. You can directly write it here. Or what you can do, you can just get it pipeline script from source code management. Let me first show you. I'll show you both ways. Let me first show you in this pipeline script, and then we'll go with to pull from the source code management. How we'll do that. Okay. Let's go ahead and see. Whatever code I just wrote it here in the VS Code, I can just simply copy it and paste it here. Or here they have given few ways the sample pipeline code. Suppose let me use this hello world. If I click on this hello world, see it gives the pipeline code. But leave this one. Let's copy whatever we had prepared, right? Let's copy this. Paste it here. So what we did, let's remove this not required. So what we did, pipeline isn't any, and different stages we have given. 2 stages, build, test, and very simple task we have kept it here. Very simple task, we have kept it here. Right? Now let's go ahead and save this. That's all, nothing, right? Go ahead and save this. See, now we have created a job is called pipeline demo B9, right? Pipeline demo B9. Now let's go ahead and build this project. Click on build now. See, this pipeline is getting the stage view. You can see here is getting built. Build, test, right? See, this is the success. What he does? Building successful, testing successful. So these are the tasks which executed. I had simple given the echo statement or print statement to print the result here. That's about the console output. Now let's move ahead and configure. Let's add another stage here. How will do that? Simple things. We can just go ahead and configure here and write one more stage. Suppose in the starting, what is called stage, right? I put it here. This stage, let's add one more thing. It's called checkout. Checkout. Now, suppose I'll add one more steps. In this steps, let's print echo checkout. Right now, let's so another stage I added here. Now let's build. See, the second build is completed. Checkout, build, and test. Right. So these are the steps. We just saw it here, how it is being done. Now what we did, we wrote a very simple pipeline script in the directly here in the Jenkins pipeline script window itself. Here one manual thing is there. We have to do any changes here inside this particular job. And here the collaborations is not happening because whatever, suppose this pipeline only I had created means I have to edit it, or if you want to edit something, if you edit here, then it will have a problem. It will create a problem to my work. Even I cannot do the work if you are working on this project, right? The collaboration is not as it is here, right? So the collaboration not working. So what we have to do? We have to use the other option is called pipeline script from source code management. Here we have to write everything in automated way, adding in the Jenkins file. Okay, so how we'll do that? Let's do the real time. How we'll achieve it? Okay, just a second, guys. So what do we have to do here? Now, see, it's done. Now what do you have to do? In the github.com, let's go there, okay? How we'll get it, right? Go to the repository. So this particular project which you want to automate, right? Which you want to add the pipelines. There you have to add the complete code, the Jenkins pipeline there, right? Let's go ahead. Suppose I just want to build this particular demo finance dev what we had created for our GitHub demo, right? Demo finance dev, that is the project. Suppose we got it from our development people, right? And we have, suppose here 4 branches, feature 1.0, 1.1, and suppose I'm going to work on this feature 1.1. After you get these things from the development people, and here we want this particular things to automate it, right? Particular things to automate it. So we have already one Jenkins file over here. Okay, let me first delete, or what I can do as feature 1.0. Let's, okay, here also I have put one file. In the release also it will be there because I was doing a demo where I had put it there. No worries. Let's get it from the master, right? So the master code is suppose the final code, which is the updated one, and the development people gave us this one to create your things to do. So what you have to do, let's create a branch. Suppose as a DevOps run, suppose I'll just create in our feature class DevOps 1.0. Feature slash DevOps 1.0. This one, right? I just created one feature branch here, right? And this feature branch, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add the Jenkins file, the pipeline script. How we'll do that? Simply add a file here, or what we can do, we can develop this in any editor, right? Save this particular file, right? Save this particular file and put it in this particular repositories. Or you can just create new file, give a name as Jenkins file, and directly do the development here itself. There is a two ways you can do, right? Let's create new file, give it here the name as, you should give as Jenkins file. The name should be Jenkins file, J in uppercase. Okay. What we'll do here, you can give any name. I'll show you in different project also, different job, different demo. I'll just show you how we can execute a different name also, right? Not only the Jenkins. If you give the default is the Jenkins file, J is in uppercase. That means you don't have to specify any name. Just simple Jenkins file means pipeline will get executed from that. Now what we can do, let's copy this particular pipeline. Pipeline is same thing. I just put it here, right? Now let's go ahead, or let's add another stages like I did it there, right? We did it stage. Check out. Okay, stage, check out, steps. Let me write it here. Checkout. Simple checkout. Then all these things I wrote it here. Now what I can do, I just commit these changes to my repository, right? Done. Here we can see here with this feature DevOps branch, we have this Jenkins file created. We have this Jenkins file. Our pipeline script is put it here, right? Now what I can do here, let's go to your Jenkins with the same job. Instead of giving pipeline script, let me just give pipeline script from source code management. Click on here. So here, source code management, choose which one. For our case is Git, the repository URL. So put the repository URL. What is the repository URL? Now what we can going to do it here? Let's click this one, get the repo URL. Okay, let's get the repo URL, put it here. Okay, now as it is a public repository, we don't need any credentials. So I have many credentials, but I don't need anything. Leave it here. For private repositories, you should put the private repositories over here, right? Now let's go ahead. Here, the branches to build. Which branch you want to build? So what branch we created now? We created this feature DevOps -1.0. This is the branch we created. Now let's give this branch name over here. Okay, suppose I'll give as feature. This is the correct name. Whatever the branch we want to execute, you have to provide that particular branch. right? Feature DevOps 1.0 here, right? Now, that's all. Nothing else, guys. Simple. Select the source code management here, repository URL, okay, and branch specifier, feature DevOps 1.0. Script part. So here we have given Jenkins file, right? Jenkins file, if we see here, this Jenkins file, we have currently put it here, right? So that Jenkins file we have here. Now let's save this one. Saved, right? We have this job particular saved. Now let's build. Here, it will be a different ways to build. So it is failed. Let's see and troubleshoot why it is failed. Go ahead. So see the logs. It is checked out. So what is sage? Unexpected character. So this is the hash symbol which I had given it here. I think I copied this one, which is not actually a comment in the pipeline, right? So the pipeline comment is totally different. Let me show you how you'll edit it. So if you see there is any issues, let's edit this file directly, Jenkins file here. And what happens here, instead of hash, this is the comment in pipeline. Double slash, you have to forward slash, you have to put it here. This is the comment, not hash. Hash is the comment in the Python or shell scripting and all this scripting. We can just put it the Python, right? Let's commit this now. So this is the way you have to troubleshoot. If you find any error, just check the console output and see where the error exactly and fix it, and then come here, build now. Okay, let's go ahead. See, it is success now. It is success. And it says declarative checkout, build, test. So what happens here? If I just go to the console logs now, first it's just checked out everything, all the codes. Now, see, statement checkout, build successful, testing is successful. If you see the previous pipeline script, whatever, without the source code management, what we had written, simply it created a workspace. I already have told you, right? It will create a workspace. Into that workspace, it just put everything there, right? Now it's directly getting executed here. But if you see the output of this particular 4 log, right? All this checkout, right? All this been put it here. What we can see now, the difference you saw, right? We checked out first, the code is getting checked out from the repository and then it gets executed. Let me show you in the backend. Let me quickly log into this server. Okay. Downloads. So it was, I think, food. Okay. Situ hyphen user audit. Jenkins swing.com. Okay. Good. I connected. So I'm into. So what I to do? Let's change myself as Jenkins. Sorry. Okay. I'm into Jenkins home directory, and here we'll have a folder called or directory called workspace. As I said, every time you execute a job, it will create a workspace, and then in that workspace, from that workspace, it will get executed. So here we'll have one job called the pipeline demo B9. This is the workspace which is created by that project, right? Go to that project, and here, let me clear it out. So here we'll see all these things, whatever they are in this repo, got downloaded. Jenkins file, everything got downloaded here. Right? Everything got downloaded. And from here, it's executed. Based on the code you have, it will get executed. Is it clear, guys, so far? Any doubt? Okay, this is a simple demo. I just so the demo file, right? Demo project. Now let's do the same things with a real project. With a real project. Okay, let's go ahead.